Welcome to Philadelphia, known as the city of brotherly love. Home to the cheesecake, the Liberty Bell, Benjamin Franklin, and Phillies baseball. Fun fact, the football stadium is home to a court and a jail. Two things necessary to contain all the love. But Philadelphia is also home to the good Phight. What is the good Phight, you might ask? It's the excitement of spring grass, summer skies, and
2 balls, 2 strikes to Howard, and the pitch. Fastball hit in the air, left center field. That one's way back there. It is gone! Opposite field, game-winning home run for Ryan Howard. The Phillies pull it out 6-3 over the Rockies.
and they don't just all eat their food at the plate.
Natural bat with runners on first and second. Over toward third, this could be a double play, if not a triple play. It is! Around the horn, 5-4-3 triple play. Started by Michael Franco. He touches the third base bag, goes to second, and then whips it over to first base for the 5-4-3 triple.
The team is filled with young guns who will sometimes get it right or get it wrong. But maybe some silver or some gold can make it all right. But as long as everybody gets home, the fight will be a good one. What's up, Philly Nation? This is Rich from Rich and Red, and this is the first episode of the Phillies franchise here on MLB The Show 17. Now, before we get started, I'd like to ask you to hit that like button down below, and also subscribe if you want to see more episodes from this series and other series that we have going on right now. We'd really appreciate it. Now, this Phillies franchise, I plan on using all OSFM data, which is rosters and as well as sliders. Now, the rosters I'll be using are the OSFM minor league sliders, the 1.5 edition. There's a bunch of guys that get together and do a really good job creating minor league systems that the default game just doesn't include. And in terms of sliders that I plan on using the Mark Lowe edition sliders. You can also find this at osfm.com. I'll leave a link down in the description, so go ahead and check that out if you also want to play like we're going to play in this series. So this series is going to be a multi-year series. I don't plan on only doing a couple of years and then giving up on it or waiting until the next game comes out. I plan on doing this series as long as this game is relevant until the next game comes out, and then we'll move on to another team. So that'll include long-term thinking in terms of trades, in terms of signing players, giving players contracts, so on and so forth. I'll also be playing every single game in the regular season, and if we make the postseason, which is probably unlikely this year. However, for seasons to come, if we do make the postseason, I'll be posting all those videos individually. In terms of the regular season, however, I plan on posting podcast-style videos per week or per 2 weeks to reflect on how the Phillies are doing in-game throughout the calendar month, and also to create maybe a highlight film, maybe talk about some roster moves, some possible trades, how Philadelphia is feeling about their Phillies, so on and so forth. So so to start this video off, I'm going to be showing you not only how to get the rosters, which I've already done, but then also what Mark Lowe's basic premise is when he created his sliders. Now, these sliders and settings are not for casual gamers. The game, when it came out and how they make the show 17, San Diego Studio looks to make it as fun as possible for the regular casual fan. However, these sliders help more hardcore fans enjoy the game as it is if you were to watch it at 7 p.m. On the MLB network. So And if you enjoy that kind of franchise or that kind of style of baseball on this game, then please leave a comment down below. Let us know, hey, yeah, I really enjoy this. I hope to see more. And we'll try to get those out to you as quickly as possible. So this introduction video is basically going to go through the roster as it currently sits, as well as the starters, what my plans are for them, and maybe future ambitions for this team going into next year, or in years to follow. Right now we're in a little bit of a rebuild, but we're on our way to bigger and brighter things. Like, we're not in the front end of a rebuild. We're not going to be just sitting on draft picks and drafting future talent and then having to wait to grow them out. This is going to be the Phillies have already done that, per se. There's already a lot of young guys on this roster and in the minors that are going to be MLB ready, whether it's this year, next year, the year prior. So besides maybe grabbing a few free agents coming up, or shooting for some trades, or regardless, I think this team is really close to challenging like they did in the middle 2000s with that Ryan Howard, Jimmy Rollins, and Chase Utley team. How I'm going to build this team, I'm going to try to focus in on pitching and defense. So I want to collect a lot of Gold Glovers and a lot of really, really solid pitchers. I don't want to just have one ace and then have them pitch kind of like the Dodgers are doing right now, where Kershaw goes out every 3 or 4 games and pitches for them because that's how they feel they can stay in a game. I'm looking to create an overall pitching staff, both relievers, closers, and starters that will be very consistent throughout the year, pick up ERAs that are under 4, and whips under 1, and then relievers who can come in for an inning or 2 and be able to not throw the game away, per se, because that's been plaguing Philadelphia for the past couple of years. Just bad pitching overall. Not that it's anybody's who's in the staff right now's fault. It's just that they're really young, they're still developing, and they're looking to grow. So in terms of position players, I plan on keeping the main core that's here right now. Players like Franco, Cesar Hernandez, Freddie Galvis, Odubel Herrera. These are players that are probably going to stick around for a very long time and be essentially the next core of this team, something that we can build around. In terms of the other positions, there are, whether it's free agents coming up in the next couple of years or talent in the minor leagues, there's enough opportunities for this team to be able to succeed in a short span. So my predictions for this season, or what I plan on hoping for, is basically getting as many wins as possible. Of course, which any team's looking to do that. So, but I'm looking to grab players and teams from teams that are also in rebuilding stages, that are looking to create a new core and are giving away their players. So as you can see right here, we've got the starting rotation. Jeremy Hellickson will probably be leading off that rotation for most of the year. I plan on keeping probably most of these guys, except for maybe Clay Buchholz, who we'll see if we can find, to package in a deal, maybe get a trade for some prospects, so on and so forth. That's kind of his role here. He's on a 1-year contract, so I don't plan on using him to in the future. He's getting old. I think he's about 32, 33, so he'll just be kind of the 4th or 5th guy until the trade deadline, and we'll see if we can package him out somewhere else. In terms of the rest of these guys, they're really young and hungry for wins. Jared Eichhoff, for example, he's looking to be a 200-inning pitcher. He's said this many times in the offseason, and I look for him to be able to accomplish that. He's got a very good stuff, very good curveball, and hopefully we'll anchor this rotation for years to come. We're looking at Phillies. Jeremy Hellickson, who is seen as the ace right now, only because he's a very consistent pitcher. He did some very good things for the Phillies last year. He posted a 300 ERA He struck out about 160 or so. Very good whip, very consistent player. When he's on the mound, the Phillies feel that they can get a win. Here's Jared Okoff now. As you can see, he was just short of 200 last year, innings pitched, 167 strikeouts. So he had a very solid year, but he's looking to improve on it in the years to come. And, I expect him to do just that. The next pitcher is Clay Buchholz. We'll look at him here in a second. He has a repertoire that's very similar to Jeremy Hellickson. He's a very similar pitcher to him. He's just getting a little bit older. He's 32, as you can see. Coming in from Boston, he had a 4.78 ERA, which isn't fantastic, and I don't plan on having him stick around for the long run. But hopefully he can give us some solid games and help these Phillies, stay in the game. That's ultimately what we're looking to do, just stay in games and not disappoint the city of Philadelphia. The next pitcher is Vince Velasquez. Velasquez is an interesting case. He's a starting pitcher as it is right now, but I might move him to the bullpen either as a setup or maybe a closer one day, because it's very difficult for him to get through 6 innings pitch without going over 100, which I find very disturbing for a starting pitcher. I want to see more solidity out of my starters. He's very good at striking people out. He's got a sub-90 fastball, which is very deadly. Mixes his speeds very well. He's a very consistent pitcher, and if he can develop, then we'll definitely keep him in a 2 or 3 spot. But as it's looking right now, the way he's developing, it doesn't look good for his long-term starter career. We're looking at Cameron Rupp now. Cameron Rupp is also on his way out. He's probably going to be a trading piece in July. Had a very solid year last year, but like I said, he's just kind of a placeholder for this next guy, Jorge Alfaro, who is pegged as one of the better prospects in the MLB, not just at the catcher position, but overall, and the second highest rated prospect in the Phillies farm system. If he can develop his bat, he'll definitely have a future here, but it's all up in the air as it stands right now. He'll probably start the year at AAA, and hopefully we'll see him in the current season or the start of next season. At first base, we've got Tommy Joseph. Now, I've got high praise for Tommy Joseph. He hit like 21 home runs in the late back end of the season, which is phenomenal compared to like Gary Sanchez, Trevor Story, what they did in half seasons. Tommy Joseph is right up there. He had a very good average, very good on-base percentage for such a short time, and a very nice slugging percentage I believe he got called up in July, so I plan on him to build on that and hopefully become an anchor in the system moving forward. Besides that, there's not much going on at the first base department. Got some vets or whatever, so they'll either be moving or they'll just stick on our bench for the remainder of the year. At second base, we've got Cesar Hernandez, who is currently in real life the star of the show, as I like to call it. He's got a very high average, very high on-base percentage. He's hitting a lot more home runs this year. He's added a lot of pop to his bat, and very, very solid defender. So as well as being a switch hitter and only 26, he's hopefully going to be the anchor, the Jimmy Rollins of this team. But that'd be high praise. Scott Kingery is supposedly be his replacement in the future. However, it's looking like Cesar might have to be a solid pick, a solid player in our depth for years to come. So Kingery will probably be looking to move on. Franco is, in my opinion, going to be the star of the show. He's going to be the main guy, the Ryan Howard, the MVP candidate, hopefully year in and year out. He's got a lot of pop. He's got a lot of potential. Doesn't strike out very much, which is very different for power hitters. Doesn't strike out. Very, very nasty glove over there at third. And I plan on keeping him over there, or maybe moving him to first if we find a better third baseman. But definitely see him in the lineup night in, night out. I also show Cole Stobie here. Cole is, if he can develop, he can be a very good role player for us. fourth infielder, as you will. He's supposed to develop into a very good hitter, very similar to Franco. However, he's probably not going to develop very fast, and depending on what Franco can do at third, he probably won't see much starting time here in Philadelphia, which we could see to move him, or regardless. At shortstop, we've got Freddie Galvis. Freddie's a very inconsistent bat, but hopefully he can prove that he can stay in the lineup this year. But in terms of gloves, he's got one of the most underrated gloves in the National League. He's a very very good defender. Turns double plays with ease. Throws over to first, like waking up in the morning. So just look to him to improve his bat. If he can do that, then he'll definitely find a place on this team for many years to come. However, there's also our number one prospect here, J.P. Crawford. If you haven't heard of this guy, please go pause this video, go see some highlight video. I think he's going to be the next Derek Jeter. He's got a very good glove. His hitting stats are going to be phenomenal in the future. A potential number 3 prospect in the MLB right now. So look to him to have a very solid year, or a very solid career here in Philadelphia as well. In the outfield, we've got Howie Kendrick. Howie's one of those pieces sort of similar to Clay Buchholz. He'll probably just be here until July. If I can find a good trade for him, then I'll definitely have to move him on, and hopefully find some prospects, or maybe a better outfielder, put Howie in a package deal maybe, and ship him on. In terms of other backup outfielders, we've got a couple of guys in the minors who are beginning to grow and find their own, and Nick Williams and Roman Quinn, which you'll see in a minute. Right now we're looking at Odubel Herrera, who is also going to be a cornerstone of this franchise for years to come. I don't know if his position is going to be center field throughout his career. I might have to move him over and left, because I like to have center fielders who are very fast, very good fielders. Kevin Pillar, for example, Billy Hamilton, Byron Buxton, those kind of guys who will make gold glove plays night in and night out. Odubel's got a very good glove, but he's not exactly what I'm looking for. He's got very good range, but it's not to a level in which I would like my center fielders to be. Roman Quinn is a candidate to be exactly what I'm talking about at center field. However, he's still young, 23 years old, switch hitter, very good speed, very good glove. He'll probably start the year along with Nick Williams down in AAA, and if either of them can get their bat going, their fielding, is already phenomenal. I'll probably move them up and see what they can do with the big leagues. We've also got Mickey Moniak, who the Phillies drafted last year in June. He's got a very long way to go, but I peg him to also be a candidate for that center field role that I was discussing earlier. If he can develop his bat, and also he can develop his speed, then he'll definitely be one of the cornerstones in this Phillies franchise. Michael Saunders is he's a bit of a wild card. I'd like to keep him around, but if his bat doesn't pick up from 24 to maybe 30, 35 home runs this year, then I'll probably look to move him on. He's already 30 years old, very good lefty bat, but I believe there's better out there, and better in our minors, that can develop into very good hitters, including Dylan Cousins here. If Dylan can, increase his fielding stats a little bit, and find some more consistent hitting at the plate, he'll definitely be the future out in right field. He's kind of like an Aaron Judge type, just a little bit more raw at the moment. In terms of bullpen, Phillies bullpen is looking very not great. We've got Pat Neshek, we've got what's his name, Benoit, and we've also got Gomez and Hector Neris, who are very good players, but they're not there's not much after that. So I went and signed Corey Rasmus, and also I signed a Japanese starting pitcher who I'll probably end up moving to the bullpen eventually. Now we're getting a look at the coaching staff. Pete McCarron's probably on his way out. He's just kind of been the caretaker for this young team, and hopefully we can find some better managing in a couple of years, but he's been doing a very good job, and he'll probably stick around for this year, maybe next. I'm looking at scouting now. Scouts, I like to have high, top quality scouts, sort of similar to FIFA, where the better the scouts, then the better likely you'll be to get the best prospects and scout the best future talent in the MLB. The show, I've noticed, doesn't do a fantastic job at creating players. They're decent, but they've got crazy equipment on, or they're like 80 overall, but like a D potential coming out of high school. So it's very inconsistent. But I'll look to try to nab the best prospects and hopefully build this team for better or worse, and hopefully for a long franchise. So that's going to be the end of this introduction video. The next video will probably be up in a couple of days. I'm going to go over the spring training and other things that go on before the season. So if you like this video, please, like I said, hit the like button, maybe subscribe if you want to see more content, and hopefully I'll see you for the next video. Until next time, this is Rich signing off for Rich and Red, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.